Okay, so thank you so much for inviting me here. It's an honor for me to visit you and talk to you. Some of you I know from earlier, and when I heard that you were imagining, planning or discussing to see if you could create one TTO on Iceland, I thought that was a very compelling idea, and there are some similarities to the journey I have been so lucky to have done in Bergen. So just a bit about myself, because it's a bit relevant. For the speak, my job is to make sure that the Bergen Technology Transfer Office, which is called BTO, is a success. That's my job. My background is that I'm a mechanical engineer, and at my diploma thesis I first came in contact with the technology transfer, because the European car manufacturing industry were on the look for a more environmentally friendly air conditioning system. And in my institute at the NTH in Trondheim, Norway, there was an invention about using CO2 as the fluid in the air conditioning system for cars. So I had my diploma at Daimler-Benz. Then I went back to Norway and I took a PhD, also done in Trondheim, and at that time in thermodynamics, but more specifically on the theme of industrial thawing of fish, which is maybe quite relevant to Iceland. After a while, I got into more like research management. I didn't believe I would ever become a professor. I was not that academic mindset in my head. After in 2006, I started working in the TTO in Bergen. So I've been there almost now in 10 years. And in that role, I also come in contact with a very interesting European network, ASDP, which is what I would say the sister of the American AUTM that we have seen from Jane. And I was so lucky to become the president of that organization 2 years, and participated in merging it with another pan-European institution called Proton Europe. So that is, the ASDP is one reference when I'm trying to make BTO a success. It's the reference on looking into how this is done in Europe, and it's a reference from a political aspect of it. The other reference I have is actually connected to my PhD, because based upon my PhD, I did some inventions, and a company caught interest in it, and the company is called IceFresh, and they wanted me to do some consultancy, and I said, well, I can do consultancy, but I don't want to just get paid and then I'm off, so I need some shares. And this is something that I do outside BTO. Of course, it's transparent, but it's based upon my research career, and it's under commercialization now in Shanghai, China. And actually, yesterday I got an SMS from the managing director of the company. He said, yes, we have made contact with the Icelandic Samherji, because we have the pipeline of the salmon from Norway, but we need some pipeline of some white fish, and what better place to go to look than to Iceland. So hopefully we will make some cooperation here, and hopefully the good quality fish from Iceland can help my invention succeed. And the last point I would like to mention is that I'm also at the moment chairman of the board of the Norwegian Association for Innovation Company, which means TTOs and Incubators. Okay, that was the long introduction, but that's the two reference points: inventor and European, and then trying to make BTO succeed. So on the ecosystem of innovation, my experience, kind of broad experience, is in the Bergen region, Norway. And in that region, we have, it's approximately 500,000 inhabitants, half of them living in Bergen, half of them around. 1 year ago, we were, I would say, almost invisible for the political aspect of Norway. This picture is 3 months old. This is the Prime Minister of Norway, and this is the Chief of Finance, Treasury of Norway, and they are making a selfie in our office. Quite a good day for us. And the whole thing is that we started to look broader than only doing the research-based innovations, but also have really kicked up the activity related to startup and incubation, mentoring and development. So in this case, and one thing that we often kind of we have stolen from Louis Pasteur is that chance favors the prepared mind, and I think that's something that's really important when it comes to the technology transfer area. As we have heard, you have to be patient, patient, patient. We are earning money after 20 years. I've earned some money after 20 years. We need to be prepared. You would never earn money at all if you weren't prepared. So it's important that the TTO and the researchers are trained to be prepared. It's not luck, it's chance. Okay, so you know where Norway is, and you know where Iceland is. so that was the map. There is some similarities between the Iceland and the Bergen region. The Bergen region is almost like a small Iceland within Norway. We have 7 mountains on our back and the ocean on the other side. It's very tough for us to cross the mountains to go, even though the Prime Minister visited us, it's tough for us to go that direction. So Bergen has always been a trade city, looking outward. Like I have the impression that Icelandic society always also have done. Between these mountains, there are a lot of institutions, small research institutions, several hospitals, and by the change of law in Norway, the Norwegian version of Bayh-Dole Act, 2003, they should all get the TTO, but they decided to make one. That's being said, the biggest one, the 3 biggest one, decided to make one and offered the rest to become partners. And this has given us some opportunities that I will get back into later in my presentation. From a population of around 500,000. Or the whole point with BTO is to realize increased impact from West Coast research effort. And the ambition that we have is that we, within the next 4 years, because then we have been around for 15 years, should be able to deliver services on an international best practice level. We are not there yet, but does that mean that we have failed? No. As you heard Dita said, and Jane said, it takes time to build up these systems. And I'll get back to that as well. We encourage everyone around us to increase the value of their or your research. That's what it's about. And it says value. It doesn't say cash. So it's value in a broad sense. But we try to encourage those around us to see what they do, the investments made in research, get an increased value for them, for society, and for those around them. Okay. When we set up the BTO, the institution who decided to create one was inspired by this picture, which is a graph that is created by Ashley Stevens in Boston, and it was very much related to, can we create something that has a positive financial result? And he looked at the relationship between positive financial contribution and the total research expenditure. And if you looked at the research expenditure on the horizontal axis, each and every one of the institutions we were serving was too small to have a very good likelihood of increasing, to actually realizing this. This is of course not new data, but this was what inspired them to gather, to create critical mass in the TTO. Okay, so then the next question is, well, if it's possible to create, if you have enough research and you are able to build a TTO, how soon will you get there? Is it like a child in the mother's womb? Or is it like children growing to be grown up? Or is it more like evolutionary aspects of it? And based upon the answers given by the others, it is more in the middle. It's like a child growing up. In that context, BTO is now in their getting close to become a teen. And everyone that has children knows what that means. It means troubles. So I think it was... yes, 2 days ago, I was at the rector's office having to answer some complaints about how we had done some stuff. At the same time, I'm also very certain that it's not only becoming a grown-up, it's also some evolutionary aspects of it. The whole society around us changes. In the beginning, it was about creating money. Now it's about creating impact. And so on. So there will always be an evolutionary aspect of it. But it's important to remember that. It takes time to grow up. Lots of stuff you need to learn. A lot of experience you need to harvest. So, when we set up this is a bit complicated graph. But first of all, let me put your eyes on the thin S curve here. This is how I have seen other TTOs in the world have developed over 10, 15, 20 years. They have had to invest in patents in order to, and they have had to invest in capacity building within their own staff and cultural changes in the institutions in order to reach something. After, as everyone in the TTO business do, which is the normal innovation tourism, go and visit Cambridge, Oxford, Boston, Stanford, Berkeley. Probably also, we did also visit the University of Florida, to be honest, and stole the calendar ID. You get an impression on how they have developed. So this curve is kind of it's an average on how they have developed. But it's not scientifically. That's why I'm not a professor. It's more artistic made. Then you could see that those who are delivering, best, they delivered something between 2 and 4% of the research base. What was they created based upon verification, license income, and exits. So in Bergen and in our, we said, well, we want to become as good as the international best practice. We don't believe we will become the best, but we have a fundament that we should be able to deliver on the level of the best. That's the idea. And we aim for 2.5% in the window of 2 to 4, because 2.5% for us was 100 million Norwegian crowns. You can multiply that with 30, and you get the Icelandic, I think. And divide it by 10 to get the euros. Okay, so this has been since 2005 the goal of BTO, to see that we can create this. Remember that it was all about the money in the beginning. Then we learned that it's not all about money, but I'll come back to that. And we said that, okay, we want to develop like this. We do not want to go into this sinus curve, where we go up and down and up and down and up and down, and we are not able to deliver on the goal. So we measured ourselves in 2011, and we measured ourselves in 2013, and we're quite happy. It is following the curve, but we see that now we need to do something to step it up. This kind of column here is just a breakdown of the 100 million. And the reason why services is under it is because services is consultancy, and it's not a contribution in that perspective. And we also said, well, who are our most important customers? Well, the most important customer is number one, the society. But it's very difficult to get feedback from society. It's not. I'm not going in the street and then people are coming around and embracing me. Thank you, BTO, for what you have done. No. So we have to look, okay, who's second most important clients? That's the researchers and the research institutions. And the third most important is the industry and the surrounding around us. And we said, when we get there, we want our customers to smile and shine like the sun. It should not be like looking back over an area that looks like someone has been have a war and smoke, and it's like a American action movie when we are on top of on that curve. So it's important for us to deliver good services. That's why it's very not pleasing to have to go to the rector and explain how it could be possible that this researcher is complaining about us. Okay, so that has been our goal, a long-term goal for a while in BTO. So BTO is a TTO, but there is not such thing as one standard TTO, so a TTO is not a TTO. There is a development phases. And this is the steps that we have taken. It's not so easy to read maybe, but it started off in 2005. The only thing we should do was to evaluate an idea made by the researcher and say if it should be patented or not. That was our job. That was the job when I joined the company. After 1.5 years of running BTO, I was the 4th managing director. So how come we changed director so often? Maybe there was some turbulence. Then after a while, we also got the task of developing the ideas. And then in 2007, we also got the task of starting new companies. In 2006, I got the question. I had been there for 3 or 4 months, and as I opened the closets, the skeletons just came like pouring over me. They asked me, do you like to run the regional incubator? And I said no. And I can say I regretted for many years that answer, but it was just too much issues. And why was it so many issues? Well, the basic idea of doing something together with the institution was good, but it was not aligned. So that it hadn't been run good enough, yes, half English, half Norwegian, half Icelandic, good enough process with the institutions that wanted to create this body themselves. 4 general manager, skeletons all over the place. This could have been avoided by a better process up front. I hope you invest in a better process up front for one TTO in Iceland. Okay. Then we got the next question. So you see there, in 2009, I actually created an incubator myself. Just a couple of years after I had said no to the offer of getting the regional incubator, because I saw we needed it. We needed it in order to foster the companies that we just a couple of years earlier had been allowed to start. And it was a biomedical incubator. And as we started to, and the model that Jen showed, very simple model with the university creates something through some channels, getting to society, society gets some taxes and then fund it back. This is also very vivid pictures in my head, because it's very clear how these things are working. And when we started working like that, of course, in order to actually be able to take something into society, you need a little help from your friends, those around you, industry, public sector, and so on. And at some point in time, we got the question from these outside entrepreneurs, small companies, bigger companies. They came to us. Well, we have cooperated in order to get your stuff out into society. I have some challenges in getting my stuff into the society. Can you help us? And then the answer from us was, well, I don't know. Let's go back to the stakeholders and ask them. And the stakeholders said, no, you can't help them because you are here to take our stuff into society, not their stuff into society. So I had to go back and say, well, yes, that's right. You helped me, but why should I help you? I'm funded by public money. I can't help you. This is said in a way that it's simple for you to understand that this is not the right approach. Of course, it's more complicated in real world, but it's how it sounded when we stripped away all the complicated mumble and bumble. So, the point is that people were afraid of that we should use the capacity we have invested, the institution had invested to help a private guy or a private company succeed. But the whole thing is that, well, when we came with the next stuff and asked them for help, and the next stuff and asked them for help, the kind of enthusiasm for helping us kind of fell. And we understood that this is not the way. And we got back to the institutions, and for I think around 2 years, we tried to persuade them with business plans, with nice diagrams and logics to explain why it's important that we should help them and not only they should help us. And this is relevant for you. Because if you want to create one TTO in Iceland, you should not only think of one TTO helping the universities getting stuff out. I would urge you to think, how can this instrument actually become a national instrument for enhancing the innovation ability of the Iceland and the country? Well, the solution was to bring the board to a strategic meeting, a place far away from home, and ask them to draw how the whole ecosystem actually looked like. We have drawn that for them many times, but somehow it didn't get in. So we gave them, actually it was not my idea at all, I cannot claim that, it was the chairman of the board who said, Anders, in this board meeting you are not going to say one word. You only speak if I ask you to. So sit back and relax. And the board came up with this picture, this beautiful graph. It's a very good graph. Actually, I have it printed on a big plate and put it forward because this is like a contract on a napkin or an invention on a napkin. You know, this is the board of BTO who has drawn everything that they can think of in the ecosystem for innovation in Bergen. And lucky for me, they put BTO in the center of it. Of course, there's other, but then they lean back after. I think they lean back after I've done this. Ah, no, I see. I mean, it's not that easy for you guys, and not me either, to see. Well, you see this picture. But the point is that I had been working through it, so they understood why we could not only do it one way. Okay, getting back to the TTO. That led us to get a regional responsibility that we should also have when other needed help, because it makes the whole process and mechanism more effective. This is maybe not very relevant for a big metropole with vivid entrepreneurs and venture capitalists flowing around, like Silicon Valley or this stuff, because then you have all this capacity around that can take this responsibility and do it. But I can tell you, the Norwegian genes, not genes, but DNA, is kind of being poorer and poorer when it comes to entrepreneurial spirit. First, many of them traveled to this island and to other places in the world during the time of the Vikings and stayed there because it was better there. All the curious people left. Okay, then came the Black Plague and all the curious people died. And then came the famine and all the curious people went to America. So who's left? Well, the careful, a bit skeptical people are left. And that's a problem for us. So we have a smaller percentage of people that's extrovert thinking we want to create something. Then, during this regional responsibility, during the years, we have been developing into innovation programs. We have fund mechanisms. At some point in time, we were so good at doing the startup that we forgot that we actually are serving the institutions, and we created academic services in 2013. We are having got some pre-seed funds, and look what happened. As the regional responsibility got on our side, I said, I would like to run the regional incubator. Too late. They said, too late. But 2015, we got it. Finally, thank you. And that is actually what made this change, that also made this Prime Minister and the Chief of all finances in Norway come to visit us. Because finally we were interesting for them. And we think that this is a continuously development of what we do. So we started with 3.5 full-time equivalents in 2005, and we are now 31. I have learned today that we are far from good enough when it comes to produce results, when I look at what Jane and Florida do. But at the same time, we are younger. So I think that when we grow up, we will become close to as effective, because we have the goal of becoming as good as the international best. Sitting 2 represents here, one from America, one from Europe, and we will become as good as them. That's my beliefs, but it will still take some years. when it comes to money, we were funded, and that's another thing. We were funded by the owners of the BTO with 100,000 Norwegian lakhs. Okay? Multiply by 13 or divide by 10. You can divide by 10 also for the dollars. That's okay. We are so poor at the moment, the Norwegian currency. It's not much money at all, and we have needed to build the capital, but we have been able to build the capital. So now the capital in the company is 40 million. And that's actually through succeeding through creating companies and selling them. And of course, I could wish that we would have the $1 billion deal on these companies, but we sold it before it came to that. Just to finance the startup. Just realizing that it's better to sell and get something than to sit in forever and hope for something to happen. Of course, we know it's a risk. I also have heard a story about the Gatorade case where they were offered, I think it was $1 million, and they said no, and they can be very happy that they did. The first company we started was in 2007. I took on the suit, not the same as this one, but another suit, and went to the bank and put, again, the same number, 100,000 Norwegian NOK into the bank, and said this is Bergen Bio. This company will probably be listed within the next year on the Norwegian or the English stock exchange. They are still debating. They have raised, let's calculate, they have raised close to 400 million Norwegian crowns. So that's 40 million euros. And they are evaluated to approximately the double at the moment.
Who?
The company is evaluated, has been evaluated to 80 million euros. Bergen Bio. They don't have anything in the product yet, but they are working on a cancer drug that's having very promising result in phase 1B. So it's, and we think it will become a $1 billion business. At least it will if they succeed. But that will definitely have some impact. But from that, we will probably have a couple of million Norwegian crowns. But it will not become a $1 billion business for us. But we will have an evidence of what we were able to do. Okay. So I have a slide here with Champions League without the teams. And it's reflecting to a setup like Norway, like Bergen, and maybe also a setup like Iceland. I'm sure there is a lot of people and instruments talking about innovation, how important it is. Building the field, making sure that you have sales of shirts and sausages and soda cans and tribunes. What is it called? Is it what calls the arena? The arena. It's audience who would like to see innovation, but you need the teams, the entrepreneurs, the ones who kick the ball into the net, so the net is ripped apart. Those who can finish a deal. And the way the innovation ecosystem in Norway was set up some years ago was building for the Champions League without the team. So we decided when we built BTO, we would build on entrepreneurial spirit. So if we hire people, that's number one. Do they have entrepreneurial spirit? They can be as good as they like in science, be so connected they like in industry, but if they don't have the entrepreneurial spirit, then they can find jobs somewhere else. So we have become what I call an operational joint resource in the Bergen region. And as you see here, this is the institution that owns us. We are owned by 6 institutions. And this is, of course, university. Bergen is a hospital. It's a big hospital. Institute of Marine Research is a governmental research institute to make sure that we are taking care of not fishing too much of mackerel and not getting too much fight with the Icelandic fisheries and so on. Then you have the University City College is the next one, HIB, it's the Høgskolen i Bergen, professional education. You have a governmental infrastructure instrument, which is called SIVA, and then you have the economic school of the Norwegian economic school. And then we also have partners with different other research institutes around us. All in all, these partners have 600,000 patients and 13,000 doctors and nurses and physiotherapists that treated the patients, 30,000 students and 4,000 research full-time equivalents, spending $600 million on research every year. So this is the fundament that we in BTO are going to create stuff from. But you see that I have the patients here also, meaning that it's not only science-based innovation that we are focusing on, we are also focusing on needs-based service innovation, how to help the hospital and the public sector to implement new findings. The biggest potential for increasing efficiency in the Norwegian economy is to increase efficiency in the public sector and the hospital and care sector. And this is, if we do not serve this institution on that aspect of innovation, I'm sure it's difficult to argue for the budget on the science-based innovation. So we say that we will also do this. Here's the numbers that are still too low, but growing. Year of 2015, we had 136 IDs or disclosure, if you like. Filing some 26 patents, made 33 deals. Out of them, 10 was startups, and we have 114 companies in incubation. Not at the same time. It is at the moment just over 50 companies in the incubation facility they run. But the 114 is that has been going through the system. We raised 140 million NOK to the startups that we have been involved in. So overall, BTO have started 53 companies, and they have got external capital of 885 or 85 million euros, 885 million NOK. So I think we have been quite good at raising money, building companies. The thing we are far furthest behind is on the licensing aspect of what we do. Well, back to our goal. So we measured in 2011 and in 13, and we also measured in 15. And it's going up, but it's not increasing fast enough. But I'm happy to say that 14 days ago I signed an agreement, so 2016 will become that. Wow. So we are back on the curve. And then the first thing is coming from the Norwegian population, you know. Bit careful, not so risk-taking. Well, it will be down next year. What I say, it's still 18 months till next year is due, and we can do something there as well. So let's see if we can make it how high we can get 2017 to. But as you know, in order to become the best skier in the world, the first thing you need to do is to win once. So we're happy with the development so far. On the smiling side there, we have a job to do, but that's also a part of growing up. So we look upon ourselves actually as an institutional serial entrepreneur. To be on the field, be in the boat as it leaks. I think I jump over this. So the whole point, very not easy to read, but it's to transfer things from investments in research to societal and economic impact. That was what I had to say. Companies in Bergen, some of them will become great and valuable. Thank you.